Asus sent me the RECO Smart, which is basically a dash cam and sort of action camera combo, which is quite interesting. The main features are the Sony CMOS sensor, f1.8 aperture, 1080p 30fps recording, a 720mAh battery, a collision sensor, Wi-Fi, and the Asus RECO app. You also have a power button which indicates your Wi-Fi status by turning blue, and you have buttons on the top of the camera or on the bottom depending which way you look at it for recording and emergency recording, as well as the microphone. You also have some indicators for charging and which type of recording you're doing, and on the other side you have a mini USB port for the GPS dongle, micro USB port for charging, micro SD card slot, and a camera sort of mounting screw if you want to attach it to, say, your windshield like this in dashcam mode. So I'm currently recording the screen of my phone. I'm actually not recording on the camera, so what you can see here is just purely my screen. Now I want to make it clear, as you can see and likely hear, there is a delay between the video from the camera and the audio. The delay is actually from the camera, it's connecting via Wi-Fi to the phone, and then there seems to be some sort of processing delay that means that there's around about 1 to 2 seconds of lag, which I will fix now. So this is actually being done in post. I basically just moved the audio back a bit with a little bit of a jump cut there. But yeah, this is the app. This is what it looks like. You obviously have the different modes. So you've got time lapse, which will just take photos every, for example, this one photo per 5 seconds, or you can change that in the settings. Photo mode, so 5 pictures per 1 second, and or burst mode, so every time you press it, and obviously one shot if you just want to take photos. You can hit the playback button and show you all of your previous clips, but mostly I'm going to go into the settings where, as you can see here, you've got video resolution that you can change to 720p 30 or 1080p 30 fps as well. You've also got ultra wide angle mode, so if you want it a little bit more cropped in, you can turn that off, and obviously changing the different settings for burst and time lapse, and also video clip length, which is how long each clip will be. It will still continuously record, but it just means that, for example, for my drive that I will show you in just a second, whereas using this as a dash cam, the actual clips are only 1 minute long, and then they will delete themselves if the SD card gets full. Now it does have an emergency message function, so you can click on emergency contacts or change what the text message is. So whatever this is, you can either have emergency, please alert the authorities, or type your own and send it to a specific number of emergency contacts. You can also have it auto backup to your Asus web storage account if you do buy one of these. You can also change the Wi-Fi SSID and the password, and obviously change from car mode to portable mode, which actually haven't seen too much of a difference. You also have auto image rotation, which is nice depending on if it's in the car, for example. Although the main difference from the portable to car mode is if you plug it into power, it turns itself on and will automatically start recording. And that seems to be the sort of main difference. Also, you can see the battery status in the settings, change the exposure, and that sort of thing. So that's kind of that, really. So this was my attempt at a time lapse. I'm sorry that I had to blur some, or kind of block some things out here. Unfortunately, I genuinely legally cannot show you what is behind these for like another month at least or something like that. So yeah, sorry about that. But this is what the dashcam footage looks like. It's attached to my windscreen with the included suction mount, and this drive actually includes obviously normal British weather, so it's not exactly bright and sunny, but what you do see is going from fairly normal daytime to fairly dark nighttime, so that you can see the difference between your average day kind of look as well as the nighttime and low light performance. So as we sort of drive along the motorways and A roads of Britain, just wanted to talk a little bit about the app specifically. It is quite interesting. There is definitely something, you definitely need to have the app sort of available for you, as you really can't use much, you can't change any of the settings, for example, on the camera, unlike a GoPro or very many other action cameras of its sort. It's quite interesting that they are trying to sort of market this as an action cam and a dash cam. It does work pretty well as a dash cam, even though it is quite bulky, but because you can't change any of the settings, and a lot of the settings are very much geared towards dash cam type use, especially the stuff like the auto recording and the collision detection and that sort of thing. It's quite strange that that's where they're going with it, and also no waterproofing, no sort of shock proofing, so that is quite interesting. But as a dash cam, it actually functions pretty well, as you can see. So I was considering doing my normal, sit down at the desk over there and, chat to you with the camera, but considering that this is a camera review, especially an action camera which is meant to be, you know, moved about and that sort of thing, I thought I would use this time to, well... So considering doing my normal, you know, stand or sit down at the desk and talk to the camera about, well, what I think about the camera, but since this is, well, a camera review, I thought it'd be a good shout to, well, do a sort of action cam kind of conclusion to the video. So, without knocking over the PC that I almost knocked over, this is actually a pretty interesting camera. Now, obviously this is technically also a test of its microphone and of the camera itself, but also just a general test of how it handles stuff like low light, because in here this really isn't that great, but if we go upstairs you'll see that it is just a little bit better and a little bit brighter, so let's give that a shot. But anyway, yeah, basically it's a pretty decent camera. It's not too grainy. The overall image quality is actually pretty good, so I'm not too displeased with that. And the microphone, you can hear yourself, so you can make your own full conclusions, but it's pretty good for you know, your average action cam. Now, one thing I would mention is that it is a little bit pricey. At the time of filming, in the UK, it's £160, £170, which is actually about half the price of a GoPro, so if you are just looking for, you know, a dash cam type camera that you can use as a sort of action cam handheld thing, it's actually not too bad for that. Obviously, you can also see the stabilization as I'm actually holding it with my hand, but yeah, overall it's not too bad. The other thing that I would mention is that you can actually go for the RECO Classic if you don't plan on using this as a dash cam, as a you know, action camera at all. If you don't plan on taking this around with you, then that's not too bad. Overall, the app isn't too bad either, although I would kind of like to see some more functions on the camera other than just record and emergency record. The emergency record feature is actually quite nice. If you really hit the camera quite hard, you know, if you're holding it in your hand, you sort of slam your hands to a standstill, then it will start immediately recording. Unfortunately, it doesn't do a sort of, you know, keeps a couple of seconds in image buffer, so that, you know, when you do have an emergency record issue, it will, you know, record that, which I think would be a nicer feature. But I believe if you are recording while you have an accident, it will obviously have that footage, and I think it will rename that clip as emergency clip 1, emergency clip 2, and then it will just start recording that. But I think it won't ever overwrite or manually, you have to, you know, manually delete any emergency clips, so it just keeps it safe if you keep the camera recording and that sort of stuff. But yeah, I guess that's that really. In terms of scoring, I think I'm going to go for a 3.5 value for money. In terms of performance, I think I'm going to go with a 4. In terms of functionality, I'm going to go with a 4 as well. In terms of styling, it's actually pretty stylish. I'm going to go with a 4.5. And in terms of TechteamGB score, I think overall I'm going to go with a 4 here. It's a very nice camera, especially if you are planning on just using it as a dash cam. It's nice and wide angle, and it is generally fit for purpose. But because they're marketing it as an action cam as well, because it's not waterproof, because it's not really shatter, you know, if you drop it, it will break type thing, and all that sort of stuff. It is just a little bit limited in the sort of action cam area, so if you are planning on getting one, then you might want to look at getting you know, a discounted GoPro Hero 4 or something instead, and perhaps use that as a dash cam if you want. But yeah, overall it's a pretty nice camera. If you are looking specifically for a dash cam, obviously as I said, they do make the RECO Classic, which I think is probably a better one just for dash cam uses. But otherwise, yeah, that's pretty much it. Hope you enjoyed the video, found it useful. If you did, feel free to hit that like button and the subscribe button. Also feel free to use the Amazon affiliate link in the description down below. It genuinely does help me out, keeps these videos going and all that good stuff. And yeah, other than that, as I said, thanks for watching. Feel free to follow us on Facebook and Twitter as well, and we'll see you all in the next video.